In this video, we're going to be talking about finding a job in Belgium.
So if this is something interesting for you, please stick around.
Hey
Hey
guys,
guys,
welcome to our channel.
We are SuprAash.
A lot of our friends have been asking us on getting some tips on how to find a job in Belgium. And it's also a very common topic that we read in a lot of groups. So we thought, why not share our knowledge and our experience with you? We both work in the IT sector, and even though some of the topics which we speak about or some information which we provide will be specific to the IT sector, there is still a lot of useful information in this video which will be applicable to other industries and sectors.
So if any of your friends or family are searching for a job in Belgium, please feel free to share this video with them.
We thought of making this into a question and answer session. So let's get started. So, you might be an expert by now. You've changed a lot of jobs in the last 8 years.
Yes.
So let's try and get some knowledge out of you on how to find a good job in Belgium. Finding your dream job if you're interested in that. What is the basic info an expat should know before looking for a job in Belgium?
Uh, the main documents I would say which is required to work here in Belgium is work permit, a professional card, and if you are a dependent and your spouse has a single work permit, then as well you can work here in Belgium.
So do you mean you need all those documents to work here? For someone who doesn't know, I think it can be a bit confusing. So can you shed some more light on that?
No, you don't need all the documents, of course, it's one of them. But if you are not a Belgian citizen or if you are not a permanent resident holder here in Belgium or in Europe, it again depends on that part, then definitely you need one of these documents. So either a work permit, or you can apply for a professional card, or if your spouse is already holding a single work permit, means your spouse is maybe working here in Belgium with a single permit holder, then you can work freely anywhere in Belgium.
Okay, I think that's pretty useful for information for a lot of dependents who have come, to Belgium along with their spouse because they got an opportunity to work in Belgium. So it's pretty useful for them to know that they can apply for a job as well if they have the right skill sets and the right knowledge to work in Belgium.
Yes.
That's good. Okay. And we spoke about, what is required to work here, but once you're in Belgium, you have one of those documents. Where do you then look for jobs? Is it easy to find a job in Belgium, or, can you shed some light on that?
There are a lot of actually websites now, because with all this social media and everything, I think it has become quite easy to find a job. We have to begin with LinkedIn, Stepstone, Monster, Indeed. So we have all these websites where you can search for a job. You can make your CVs and just upload it into those websites. But out of everything, I would say LinkedIn is the best one, where nowadays all the recruiters as well are looking for new talents every other day. So I would say mostly stick around with LinkedIn.
Okay. And are there tips that you can give them on how to use LinkedIn? Because I have seen as well, not a lot of people know a lot about LinkedIn, or they have questions on LinkedIn. You have used LinkedIn in the past to find
Yeah.
some jobs, I think. So, what kind of tips can you give? Because there are a lot of new features even on LinkedIn on finding jobs.
Right. First and the foremost thing is create an account on LinkedIn with your picture, with your skill sets defined there. Once you have your account and all those things created, there are many companies or the recruiters who always keep posting lot of openings, lot of job postings are there, so where you can search for, and you can even apply directly on LinkedIn. So they
So they
get
post
your
jobs over
yes, they post jobs, and then you can just apply on that. Or sometimes it also redirects you to their official website where you have to apply and fill in some details, upload your CVs.
Right.
And you have to make sure that your profile is always up to date.
So that's very important, having an up-to-date profile on LinkedIn, so and having the right keywords. So depending on what industry you're working in or what technologies you're working with, having that well defined on your
Yes.
profile.
Actually, you told quite a good point. The terminologies, that's very important, because if you have not used the correct terminologies in your account or in your CV, when the recruiters do a search, they usually search with some specific terminologies related to your job. And once they find the profile based on that, that's when they start looking into your profile, they start getting in touch with you, they message you or they email you, or if there's a telephone number listed, they might even directly call you.
Right. They also like schedule some interviews with you, or they ask you if you're free to have a quick call to discuss more on the profile.
Yes, they do that as well. But there is another one tip I would like to give. But yeah, of course, it depends who can do, or if they want to do it or not. There is something called on LinkedIn uh, open to work.
Open to work.
Open
yes.
to work. So that's something which is like you're announcing to your social, or that's
Your
on
network.
your network basically, that you are available for work, you're looking for a job. So that is something could also be useful when recruiters are searching for some new talent. So that's one thing. The other thing is, if you're interested in a specific company, for example, you want a job in that company, then I would say follow that company. They also do some job postings, so you are immediately informed about that particular job, and probably you could be maybe the first ones to apply for it. And also we have a lot of HRs, recruiters in the who are also on LinkedIn. Maybe send a connection request to them. Maybe try to talk with them. Explain about your skill sets. What exactly are you looking for? So sometimes they also could be very helpful, that they will help you finding a job. So, but
Okay.
everything happens on LinkedIn.
And you also get approached then by recruiters. They send you connection requests themselves if they like your profile, if they want to keep in touch with you for future opportunities, or
Yeah.
If they're looking for a current profile and they liked your account or your profile, they can
Yes.
send you a connection request themselves as well.
Yes.
So
Yes.
it's always important to accept those requests, even if you are not currently looking for a job or you're not open to change. It's if you have a job already in Belgium, that is, it's good to accept the request and keep in touch.
Build your connection that way, and yeah, keep in touch. Maybe they might be helpful in your future job search.
So it's always good to politely decline and say that you're not looking for one right now.
Yes, there's
And
nothing wrong in telling them that no, right now I'm not looking for any opportunity, but let's keep in touch.
okay. And what about LinkedIn Premium? Is that gonna be something helpful in looking for a job? Or
Yes, because I've personally used it as well, and I'm telling it based on my experience that LinkedIn Premium is also useful, and you need not pay money for it, because LinkedIn Premium you get it free for 1 month, and after 1 month you can cancel that. So yeah, if you're lucky enough, probably you'll even find a job in that 1 month. And what's useful about it is, like, when you apply for a job, it will they first push the profiles of the ones who are premium.
Okay, that's nice.
And once you apply, they also, you can see a lot of statistics as well, like what are the skill sets that are matching with your profile, as mentioned in the job description. Where do you exactly stand? So maybe there are other people who have applied as well, so you can see where exactly you're standing. Maybe you're in the first position, maybe you're third or fourth. So you see all those details as well, that if you do have a chance even to go through with it. So yeah, there are a lot of things I think which benefits you. So, and there is nothing harm in taking it for 1 month if it's for
Yeah,
free.
it's a trial period offered by LinkedIn. So if you've still not used it, you can always try and use that while looking for a job in Belgium.
Yeah.
So we spoke about finding jobs in Belgium, the platforms where you can apply for jobs, and the documents which you need. But now let's get on to the main important thing. What do you do in your resume? What are the tips or some information which you can share with viewers on how to prepare their resumes?
For resumes, I would say keep it clear,
Yes.
simple, and short. So, what do I mean by that? Okay, of course, as usual, you're going to write about your personal details where your name, your email ID, and all those things are mentioned. And then after that, you start your job description, all the work you have done in the past and currently where you're working. So, start with the current job, what you're doing, and then you go on with your past jobs. And then the most important thing is the references. Also have at least 3 references where you have worked with other people, probably in the past, because yeah, of course, maybe you don't want to inform your present company about that you're looking for a job. So have those 3 references, their email ID, their phone number, check with them that if they are okay, if the recruiters contact them, that they are willing to give a feedback about you.
That is very important, not to give someone's details without checking with them.
Yes, GDPR. So we have to always ask their permission that if we can give their names in the references. And also to mention, we also need to include maybe some of your hobbies or something like that as well, because it's not just a professional but also something personal, so that the other person or the recruiter knows about your personality as well, what kind of personality you have. So yeah, that's important thing. And another one more thing I would like to add. So I was in one of the interview panel, and my colleague was there as well, and she was looking into all these resumes when we got. She looked at one of the resume and she told, "Oh, it has 4 or 5 pages. I'm not interested."
So that's very important, and why you need to keep your resumes short and simple over here.
Yes, because what people think, the more page I fill in, the more chance I have to get the job. But unfortunately, that's not true. So try to be to the point. What skill sets you have, or what skill sets or what tools you worked on in the past, what you're working currently, in just few lines. You don't need 10 pages of it. I would say 2 page, maximum 3 page. It's maximum. If you can do it in 2 page, it's well and good. So please keep it simple so that the recruiters have time to go through your CV and at least see what skill sets you have, rather than filling it up with so many other things that you just miss the chance.
Right. So listing out whatever technologies or your skill sets, highlighting them, and keep it concise. That's the main tips that I take from what you just said.
Yes.
Okay. And what about language? Belgium is trilingual legally. You have Dutch, French, and a small part of German. Sorry. Does language play an important role in finding a job in Belgium? Or as an expat, not a lot of expats already know one of the languages which are spoken over here. You come here, you need to learn the language, and at the same time, you're looking for a job. Is that gonna hamper?
Um, yes, actually. Yes and no, because I do not have a clear answer, but I have been rejected for many jobs because of the language. But again, it depends which sector you are looking for. And as we already told, we are mainly focusing on IT sector because we both work for IT. In IT, usually the language is not required, but many of the job postings, if you read, they would have written probably maybe Dutch is required, English is a plus, French is required, English is a plus. But few of the companies also have like English is a requirement. Again, it depends what kind of company you're joining. There are some companies who have an international environment. They usually just prefer English, but it's nice to learn a language because it's not about just the job, but apart from your work, you're also talking to your colleagues, you're maybe going for lunch with them together, and sometimes it's to mix up socially. That's when the language is required.
That's always true.
So yeah, it really depends. But yeah, you could also get rejections because you don't know a language. So at least try to learn one of the language, French or Dutch, I would say. And
No one expects you to be perfect at the start, but as long as you're willing to make the effort and the recruiter sees that you're making an effort, I think they might be a little more lenient on you. At least in our experience, that's what
yes,
we've seen.
at least be enthusiastic to learn the language. So yeah, and sometimes when you're speaking around with your colleagues, I think you tend to pick up few lines.
Exactly. Try and speak one or two lines, if you've learned a few lines, you can always try to show them that you have started learning and how
Yeah,
much you've learned already. So they
greet. You
might,
can greet them
a
probably.
simple
Yeah.
line or two, it's really helpful. Okay, we spoke about preparing your resumes, we spoke about, you know, where to apply for jobs and everything. But now, once you have been shortlisted, how do you prepare for an interview, or what can you expect in an interview?
How can you prepare? See, usually interview what I've seen here, it's little bit simple, and but yeah, of course it again depends
It
company to
really depends
company
from
as well.
company to company.
But usually whenever you have an interview, the first thing is they will ask you to introduce yourself. So yeah, it's a standard thing I think everywhere where they ask you to introduce yourself. So I would say start by telling your name, give your education background, give background about your work and all those things. But also remember, for what job are you going for? So you know what's the job description,
Right.
and you know what are the activities that they are expecting to be done during your that job. So highlight it already when you are introducing yourself so that they already know, okay, they know all these things. They have already done similar,
Kind of role.
yeah, similar kind of role in the past.
Right.
So that's your, I would say, would be a strong point that you can already highlight all those things in your introduction part. And once your introduction is done, it again depends because sometimes it's the HR round who does this. Sometimes it's not the HR, but probably a technical person who is taking your interview. If imagine if it's your HR round, then of course he or she's not going to ask you about technical questions, but more it will be to judge your personality. So they might ask after your introduction something about your personality. What kind of personality do you have? Or maybe they might give you some scenario and how would you react to that scenario? Such things to judge your personality. If that personality will even suit that company or no.
Right.
So that's the thing I would say, which happens. Of course, they also tell about their company as well, like what that company is or what that company are involved in different activities, and then about the team and so on. But imagine if it's not HR and then it's a technical person, then of course again it starts with your introduction, of course, and then later on they might deep dive into technical part, and usually it's surrounds again around your resume. So never write things on your resume which you do not know. So if you know it, they are definitely going to ask questions around it, and I'm sure you will be able to answer it.
Yeah.
So
I think that's very important to highlight that you should never fake things on your resume or during an interview. If you don't know something, it's better to be honest with the interviewers over here in Belgium. They prefer honesty.
yes, that's actually a very important point because sometimes, because we need a job, we just say yes to everything. Like, do you know this? Yes. Do you know this? Yes. but probably they might ask you a technical question and then you don't know, you cannot answer them. So it's better to be upfront about it, that maybe you have heard about it but you don't know about it, or maybe you're willing to learn.
Of course.
If they are ready to train you, or if they're ready to give you the time, that you're willing to learn, I think that's most important, that they know what kind of candidate they are selecting, and they can also set right expectations about you. And it's also little bit easier on you that you already have explained about yourself to them.
So there's no shame in saying you do not know something. The
No.
main thing which is important is showing the eagerness and the willingness to learn something new. What else can you say about preparing for an interview? Um, Belgians are very punctual, so
Yeah, of course. Be on time if possible, before time. That's of course very
crucial.
much crucial, yeah. And of course you can also sometimes be late, but don't forget to inform them, not that you just arrive late and then they are just waiting for you. Just give a call and tell them that okay, maybe due to some reasons that you're stuck somewhere and that you're late.
Is it always necessary that an interview is just a one-way street, or can you question about the team, the role, the company?
Yes, yes, of course. It's not that, yeah, it's not definitely one way street, because many a times people think it's just for the candidate that an interview is going on. They are going to ask some questions and I'm going to answer them. That's it. And based on that, they are going to judge me. No, that's not true at all. Because it's not just about they finding a talent, but it's also about you finding a company which is suiting your, yeah, your expectations. So you should definitely ask about their company. Of course, maybe they already give you some information about the company, but more than that, you can also ask about the team, what exactly are the roles, or the activities which take place in the team, what kind of work culture they have, how many members are there probably in the team, and such things, so that you, or even the technologies what they're going to use, but maybe you're not interested in those technologies, or because yeah, they have a lot of things in the job description. Sometimes they even have all the tools in the market listed in the job description, but when you actually go for the job, it might not be the same. They might be using just one or two of them, and I'm not sure that you are comfortable or not. So it's very important that you also have some set of questions for them to ask, to know about the company, about the team as well.
Right. And since we're talking, or we're videos more focused on expats looking for a job in Belgium, how important is it for the candidate to be physically present in Belgium to attend an interview? Is it possible for them to attend the virtual interview sitting outside Belgium, or do they need to be physically present in Belgium for the interview?
If I talk about few years back, I think I always saw everyone wanted you to be physically present to for the interview.
Right.
Okay, but of course with COVID many things have changed, and nowadays people are very open to have an interview remotely, because of course even we are not allowed to go to companies on a daily basis, and yeah, the regulations of course keeps changing as well. So but people usually prefer to have now interviews on call or on a video call. Mostly it's the video call. Actually, I want
That's
to
true.
add one more point to it. Sometimes, yeah, I told about the interview part, but I would also like to add one more point. Sometimes you are also, for example, maybe you're into testing or in development. Sometimes they give you a project to work on. So they give you can say like a scenario or something that you need to maybe develop something, or maybe if you're into automation testing, you might have to automate something, so you have to make your own project. So such things, of course, you don't need to be physically present for that. So they give you a time. Sometimes there's a time frame, like maybe you do in a week. Sometimes there's no time frame, because they know that you're already working somewhere, that you need to create a project and submit to them, and then they can judge based on that skills as well, how you're doing, how well you did in that project, and then maybe they can go for the next round. So for all these things, you don't need to be physically present, but just anywhere in the world you are, you can do it. So yeah, I think with COVID, some things have
Changed.
changed. Yeah.
That's true. So it's really dependent on which company you're applying with, what they prefer. If they prefer that you're already here in Belgium, or they are okay to wait for you to come, because if you don't already have the legal documents to be in Belgium, you need to apply for them, and that takes some time. So it really depends on the requirement, I would say. That
Oh yes, actually, that's completely true, because the downside of this COVID is also like lot of documents. Say even the work permit, for example, if the processing is needed, then yeah, it takes a lot of time. Then maybe those companies, if they want some people urgently, then they probably are not willing to work with you because you do not have a work permit, and then you do all the processing of work permit, visa, and everything, and then you have to come from another country to here. So yeah, those companies are not okay, but still there are some companies who maybe they don't need you immediately, so they are still fine for you to take, I don't know, 3 months or whatever. So it again depends, company to company, depends on different scenarios. But
much.
if you don't need a work permit, usually it's quite easy, I would say, because they know it's just your notice period, that what you're going to serve in your current company. With the notice period, I also that's also quite important. That's another question which they usually ask during the interview. So
Yes.
already have this information
Ready.
ready, yeah, when they ask this information, because as you all know, like in Belgium, the notice period depends on the number of years you work in your current company. It's not some fixed number, so you need to calculate and be ready with that when they ask you. And
Right.
yeah, and they could also ask sometimes, is it negotiable, that notice period. So again, if it's not negotiable, be again upfront about it. No, it's not possible. Maybe you're in a very crucial role and your company will not be ready to negotiate on your notice period. So just again be very clear about it. Don't say, yeah, yeah, it's possible for me to join early, and then later on you say, ah, my company is not letting me do. Don't do that.
Yeah, they don't appreciate things like that. The last question, so uh, regarding the interview process and applying for a job in Belgium, have you seen scenarios where the companies prefer someone who already have the legal documents to start working, or do all companies sponsor a work permit if it's required?
Again, it depends company to company. Some companies are willing to do that. They are willing to apply for a work permit for you, but some companies are not willing to do that because they think it's a lot of hassles, or they have to go through the process, or maybe just because they have not done it before.
Right.
So they don't, they are not ready to do it. So yeah, it really depends on company to company.
Okay. And what are the main differences between having a permanent role or a freelance or a contractor kind of a role?
There are a lot of differences on
Yeah.
being a permanent and contractor, but probably we could cover it in some other video. I think it depends on our audiences if they are.
Interested in knowing such information, so
Yes.
you know what to do. Let us know in the comments. So we wish you all the best in your hunt for your dream job in Belgium. And if you like this video, if you found this video useful, please do leave a like on the video and let us know in the comments.
Also, if you think we missed out something in this video, and or if you have more questions about it, please let us know in the comment section below. We would do a follow-up video about all those questions.
So please like, share this video with your friends.
Because sharing is caring. Just
And
like how we shared all the information with you.
that's very true. And also subscribe to our channel. Thank you for watching, and we'll see you in the next video. Bye.